Hmm. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so welcome, everybody, and we're going to start now. Little class on, we're continuing on the prayers. We're going to learn today the 15th bracha. I know you had last week the honor of seeing my better half. Goldie gave the class last week, so I'm sure it was great. And she brought a little energy to our class, and it's always a pleasure to have her. I think I had something last week. I don't even remember what, but something came up. But this week, we're just going to continue on the same topic. And we're going to talk about the 15th blessing of the Amidah. 15th blessing. It's sort of the culmination of our prayers. So in the Amidah, which is our daily prayers, 3 times a day, we say this 18 brachot, 18 or 19 blessings that we say every day. It's called the Shmona Esrei. And featured in the 15th blessing is the bracha, where we ask Hashem for the coming of the Meshiach. As Semach David, the offshoot of King David, Meheiras Atzmiach, send him to us quickly. And if we ever needed the Meshiach more than ever before, the world really needs him badly now, really badly. we need some serious redemption, especially what's going on to Israel. So the first thing we're going to do today is pray for the welfare of Israel and to let the Jews in Israel and around the world know that we have their back and we're praying for them. And we ask Hashem to please, enough tzaddis and what's going on in Israel, enough tzaddis we've had in Miron, and now with almost a full-blown war there with Gaza. We need the Mashiach now. We need to get us out of the quagmire that we're in right now over there with the people in Gaza and the Palestinians. It's a very complicated matter, and everybody agrees the only thing that can solve this problem is the biggest minds of the world tried solving the problems in the Middle East. The only one that's going to solve the taka is going to be the Mashiach, and so Mashiach's coming very soon. This is what we pray for. We've prayed for thousands of years. After we pray for Jerusalem, which we spoke about at great length a week ago. Now we see how central Jerusalem is to the whole world. This week, we're going to learn about the bracha of the waiting for the Mashiach. We know the Jews have been waiting always, wherever we were in the shtetl, in the city of Chelm. They had a fellow whose job was in that town. It was a funny town, as they call the town of the Merry Fools of Chelm. A lot of Jewish humor comes from there. And so there was a fellow there. His job was to look out for the Mashiach. Because the Jews' life there in the shtetl was very, very tough. So they had an official at a watchtower, and there was somebody there, his job. So they asked the guy, "No, how is your job?" He says, "I don't know how to describe it. I mean, the pay is not so good, but the job security is excellent." So this is what the Jews, for thousands of years, we've been waiting for the Mashiach, and we hope that the job security should not be so excellent. That Mashiach should come, the job of the watchtower should be over already, and then it should happen speedily in our days. So we ask for, but why? But you ask yourself, besides for the fact just to resolve all our problems, and Mashiach is going to bring in an era of peace in the world, why is it such a central part of the Jewish religion that we speak about it 3 times a day? And if you look in this particular prayer, it says, we await for your coming all day long. So that means it's quite a central part. And we know one of the principles of the Jewish faith, Maimonides writes, Ani ma'amim be'emunah shalema, I believe in perfect faith, v'viat HaMashiach, and the coming of the Mashiach. V'af al pi she'yisma meya, even though he tarries, im kol zeh achakala. We know there are a lot of beautiful songs that are made with this song, Ani Mamin. It's quite ironic, actually, that right before they had this terrible tragedy in Miron, moments before this great, I don't know what happened over there. The people were trampled one on the other. 45 people never died over there. They were all sitting there. You could see it online. Beautiful. They were singing Animam. Animam. I believe in perfect faith in the coming of the Meshiach. The history of this song is quite an interesting history because it also comes from not such a happy place. This particular song that they were singing there was Ani Mame, Ani Mame, Ani Mame. So that's the song. I'm not a chazan, so that's as far as I'll go with the song. But that was the song they were singing. And the song actually was a song that was composed, believe it or not, on the train on the way to Treblinka. It was this song of this Ani Mame, I believe in the coming of, was composed by a chazan. The chazan, his name was Azriel Fastag. He was a Jew who never perished in the Holocaust. And he was being taken to the death in Treblinka. And he was a Moshiach Chassid. And the Moshiachs, they're very, very famous Chassidim. They're known for their beautiful music. The Moshiach Rebbes taught a lot of beautiful music. And within Jewish Hasidic music, they're famous. And we know Chassidim in general sing beautifully, but the Moshiach especially. And this Chazan, Azriel Fastag, he was a Moshiach Chassid. And he was sitting in the train. What do you do for 2-3 days in a train? He composed a beautiful song about the coming of the Meshiach. He used the words from Maimonides, I believe in perfect faith in the coming of Meshiach, and although he may tarry, I still believe in him every day. That's what the Jews were singing on the way to the Holocaust, on the way to the death camps. So he composed this song, and he started singing it. And people knew him as a chazan, so the people around him started learning the song. And before you knew it, the whole train was singing this beautiful song together. How do we know this tune? Azriel Fastag was taken with all the Jews into the gas chambers shortly thereafter. So how did this tune come to us? Where do we know this song from? So what happened was, the rabbi was, this Azriel was made the song, and after he finished, and after everyone was singing it in the train together, he says he scribbled the notes. He was very musical, so he wrote the notes to the tune on a piece of paper that he had. And he announced, he says, if anybody could take this song to my Rebbe in New York, the Moshiach Rebbe was already then in New York. He arrived there just before the outbreak of the Holocaust. He says, if anybody can give this to my Rebbe, he says, I will give them half of my portion of the world to come. And there was a young boy, they were 2 young boys. One of them, maybe his name was Zisman, Abel Zisman, and someone else. They were there, they were young. They took the zettel, the note, and they found a way to break out of the train. On top, there was a little like air hole there, pocket. They climbed out of the train while the train was going. And they jumped off the train while the train was riding. They got injured, but they survived. And they escaped. And eventually, they made it out of Europe, and they found their way to the Moshiach Rebbe. You imagine? They brought it to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe saw the notes. He says, "Wow, this is an amazing song." Like I said, Moshiach is there, very musical, and he sang the song with his Hasidim at his tish, at his in his court in Brooklyn. And he announced, he said afterwards, this is the most beautiful song about the coming of the Meshiach. He said, this song was written in the train on the way to the gas chambers. But with this song, we will all together greet Meshiach with this musical song, Greet the Meshiach. Very powerful story. So it's the story that's Ani Mamin. I believe in perfect faith in the coming of the Meshiach. So it's ironic that that song again was a song that they sang right before, the 45 people were never killed in the stampede out of the cave. But now we have a lot of other tzaddis. If you don't have just those tzaddis, we have not tzaddis in Israel. There's missiles flying in Tel Aviv and Petach Tikva and Natzeret and all the places. Even in Eilat today, closed down Ben Gurion Airport. But we Jews, we don't give up. We believe in the coming of Mashiach. But why? I asked why. That was the question I came into the story with. Why is this such an important thing? I mean, it's a nice thing. Mashiach's going to come, and a belief that we have. But why is that foundation of the Jewish faith? Why is that a principle? It's not just a. So you understand, the foundation of the faith is belief in God. Because if you don't believe in God, everything else is. A foundation of the Jewish faith is the belief in the Torah. A foundation in the Jewish faith is the belief in reward and punishment. But what does Mashiach have to do with anything? Why is that central? And why is that a foundation on which all the other mitzvahs sit? And so important that all the other beliefs are not really entrenched in the prayer, the daily prayers. But the prayer for the Moshiach is said 3 times a day, and we say that we wait for you all day long. Why is it so significant? So I'll just tell you a few points. And that Meshiach is not just a nicety that's going to happen, a nice reward. If you're going to be good, you're going to get to Meshiach. Be a good time, a time of peace. No. In the Jewish way of thinking, it's actually the culmination. In other words, Judaism is not just a bunch of people trying to do mitzvahs and giving tzedakah and honoring their parents and trying to be a good mensch and putting on tefillin and giving Shabbos. It's part of it. But it also is it's a plan. It's a plan to fix the world, to make the world a better place. It's a plan that's been going on for thousands of years, leading us somewhere. It's not just a bunch of haphazard actions that have happened over the years of different people, different communities doing different good mitzvahs. No. All the mitzvahs are being accumulated. And each mitzvah that we do fixes the world. And at the end, we're going to accomplish tikkun olam, perfection of the world. And that will usher in an era in the world called the Messianic era. And in that Messianic era that will be ushered in will be through a great leader called the Meshiach. So Meshiach really is a culmination. But more than that, like when you do a mitzvah, any particular mitzvah, if you just do a mitzvah, a random good deed, you are much more inspired by knowing the big picture. Okay, you have, for instance, let's say we have playing football. So you're playing a game of football. So you have 2 kinds of coaches. One coach, he has all his players and tells each player what their job is. Your job is to watch the to be a forward, the back, the guy throwing the passes. He's the quarterback. He's this. Every guy has a role to play, and he tells each one how to play. And your job is to tackle the guy that comes here. You tackle him. A linebacker. I don't know, all the different players, whatever they have to do in the game of football. Or the other football, the British football, all the different players in the team. So there's one coach that comes and he tells everybody, this is your job, that's your job, this is your job. And they have another coach, it's a way a better coach. He says, guys, we want to win the game. I am going to show you how we're going to win as a team. If you do this and you do that, and you go here and you run there, and that will go there, and that Now we'll do this play and that play and this play and that play. And through all those things together, you understand now how we're going to win the game. Because there is a big picture. So there is a small picture coach and there's the big picture coach. Small picture coach just tells everybody their job, but doesn't inspire them with the vision. The big picture coach gives everyone the vision, the future, the plan, how we're going to win, how we're going to get to the Super Bowl. And how if we work as a team, and you'll do that, and you'll do that, you'll do that, all together, collectively, we're going to win because we have to win, because we're doing all these things together. So the big picture, the visionary coach, inspires his players much more because now they get a flavor of what it means to see. They can taste already the victory. You get it? So the Meshiach is the big picture. It's the plan. It's the goal. It's to fix the world, to make the world a better place. Jews, like, so when you go to the pushka, you put a penny in the tzedakah box. So some people, small town coach, the small picture coach tells you, just do a good thing. The big picture coach tells you, no, you're putting in, it's not just a penny in the tzedakah box. You're putting in a penny here, and somebody else is putting a penny in Bangladesh. The other one's putting a penny in Hong Kong. The other one in Hawaii. The whole world is being engulfed in tzedakah. And the whole world is becoming a better place. And we're winning the war through that. And your act that you're doing right now, you're putting a penny in the pushka. It's the same way that your mother did it before you. Your grandmother did it before you. It's now a pattern of goodness that's being created in the world generation after generation. So now you're inspired. When you're putting in the penny, you're not putting in an isolated penny. You're part of a massive movement of goodness and kindness. You're part of the history of the Jewish people. And that's why Moshiach is so important. It's not a sideshow. It's not a side benefit. It's not to tell you, okay, one day Meshiach is going to come. No. Meshiach is going to come through our collective actions today. That's we can bring on Meshiach. And every deed that we do is interrelated, interconnected. And all together as a group, we're going to make the Meshiach happen. So now we're inspired. When we drop that penny in the tzedakah box, we're not just, doing just a good deed. No, it's a universal deed. It's a historical deed. It's changing the whole world. That one deed can change the balance. The Rambam once wrote, many years ago, that every mitzvah we do, a person should look as if the entire world is in an equilibrium, even scale. An equilibrium between good and evil. And the one good deed that we do, the one mitzvah, the one tefillin we put on, or the one Shabbos candles, or the one donation we give to a Jewish organization, whatever the mitzvah is, Rambam says that we have to view that one deed is going to tip the scales and bring the world from being an average world into an excellent world. Change the world from being a world of darkness to a world of light. To transform the world that we're living in to become God's world. And a world that will be worthy of redemption. It says, Umevi Geula v'Yeshua. And through that one deed, you will bring to the whole world redemption. You'll bring the world into a redemptive state. So you say to yourself, what does one mitzvah? I'm at home, I'm in COVID, I'm locked up in quarantine, and what I'm doing, nobody sees, nobody hears. I don't think so. You study a little bit, you come to Rabbi Plotkin's class online, You say, well, what am I? It's okay. It's a good class. I'm learning a little something. Fine. It's good. I have a curiosity about Kabbalah, about the Torah. No, this class is what's bringing Mashiach. If you turn on the radio, you turn on the TV, right after this class, you hear Mashiach's come. You'll know you did it. You were the ones. Took away the job security from the guy in the helm. You won't have a job anymore looking at him because Mashiach is here. How did that happen? That happened because we had this class. We were studying Torah. We were doing a mitzvah together. And the Rambam says that one mitzvah could change the whole world for the good. So why is Moshiach a foundation of the Torah? Because it's transformative. It turns a mitzvah from being just a small deed into being a world-changing act. And when you feel that and you appreciate that, your inspiration is so much more. So Mashiach is the goal. And we want to bring the world to turn it into a Mashiach state. And the world needs it so much now with what's going on in Israel. So much tragedy and so much terrorism. It says when Mashiach will come, all the evil will be banished from the earth. So that's why Meshiach is so important. But you look at the structure of this particular prayer. So we say it every day. But when I speak about the big picture, one thing I told you was about big picture in the world as it is right now. But big picture also is it creates a link between all the generations, and that's a very important thing. Like we said at the beginning of the davening, which ties to now. It says, at the very beginning of the Amidah, we said, Umevi Goel, I will bring a Redeemer, Livnei V'nehem. So the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. And I will bring the Redeemer to their grandchildren. That's us. We're the grandchildren of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So what happens is the Meshiach, the Redeemer, is what ties the beginning of time to the end of time. Like we don't look at somebody that passed away in the past generation as being gone. Their story is still unfolding with us. We are continuing their story, the story of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So that's why the Mashiach is not, it's a unifier. It doesn't just unify the world. It doesn't just unify space. It unifies time. It unifies all our generations. It connects us to our parents, to our grandparents, to our great-grandparents before us. Because as the Torah says, God remembers the good deeds of the parents for 1,000 generations. What does that mean? That means that goodness multiplies. We might not see it always, but it has this kind of multiplying effect. Dividends on the good deeds keeps on growing from generation to generation to generation. And when we continue on the ways of our parents, we go on their coattails, right? So we might not be so meritorious, but we had meritorious parents and grandparents. So we sit like giants on the back of giants. You know, the little guy gets on the back of the giant, and then he can climb over the wall. So the redemption comes for the little guy on top, but it's not on his merits. The merits, the guy is underneath the giants of the past generations that are going to help us get there and climb over the wall, climb over the obstacles of life. And I think I told you the story before but it's very much so about the coattails, about the Rabbi Israel Spiro. I told you about the Moshiach Rebbe, now I'm going to tell you about the Bluzhev Rebbe. They're very interesting names of all the Rebbes. I told you the Moshiach story, now the Bluzhev story. Okay. So there was a Rebbe called the Rabbi Israel Spiro. He survived the Holocaust. He was he passed away not too long ago. And he was the inspiration. There's a very nice book, you could read it. It's called Hasidic Tales of the Holocaust, written by Yafa Elyach. She was a professor in Brooklyn College for many years. And she wrote a fantastic book. If you haven't read it, I advise you to read it. It's called Hasidic Tales of the Holocaust. Stories that she received from the Hasidim. She was a professor in Brooklyn College. I guess there were a lot of old Hasidim there in Brooklyn. And she wrote this book. The first story, the very first opening story in the book, is about the Bluzhev Rebbe. And many of the stories, subsequent stories in the book, also are from him, Rabbi Israel Spiro. He recorded many of the stories. And he writes about how he was in Poland at the time. And he lived in a place called Lemberg. Today it's called, they call it Lvov. Lvov. Today it's in the western Ukraine. But then it was part of Poland. It was eastern Poland. And they were in the town of Lemberg and in Lvov, and they sent them out to a camp. The Nazis sent all the Jews out to a camp. It was called the Yanovska camp. It was a waiting camp before they were shipped away later to I think Treblinka, some other place not far from there. Maybe it was to Belzec. I think they went to Belzec from there. But they were all standing in the camp, and the Nazis in that part of the world, they would kill the Jews in the camp itself. So they would do like they did in Babi Yar. They would create a ditch, find a big ditch in the park, and they would ask the Jews to jump over the ditch. And anyone who couldn't jump over would fall in it, and they'd fall one on top of the other, and the Nazis would laugh and shoot them dead. And the Jews were lined up in a line, and Israel Spiro found himself in this line together with another young secular Jew who wasn't religious at all. And the Nazis, they made no differences between whether you're religious or you're secular. It's always all the same to them. Now, you're a Jew. If you came from any Jewish you were a descendant of any Jews, you were a Jew to them. Right? It's interesting. We Jews sometimes we have a tendency of making all kinds of differences between ourselves. But the Nazis, they're all Jews. So you have the rabbi, is religious, Hasidic rabbi, standing in line together. The rabbi was a very engaging rabbi. He started speaking to the secular Jew, also a beautiful fellow. And they made a good friendship while they're waiting in line for a couple of hours. And they hear the Nazi Mamzedim, they're shouting on top of their lungs, Fluchtende Juden, go, move, jump. And suddenly the rabbi and this Jew find themselves right right in front of the pit. And the rabbi says, say together with me, and they both shouted out, Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Lord our God. And the Nazi said, jump. And they jumped. And they both found themselves on the other side of the pit. So the young man turns to the rabbi and says, Rabbi, you're a rabbi. How could you jump like that? How did you make it to the other side? I never thought you'd make it. Rabbi says, I would never could have made it. But I was holding on to the coattails of my father, who was a rabbi before me, who was holding on to the coattails of the rabbi before him, and so on and so forth. And with their strength, I was able to make it to the other side. But the rabbi turns to the secular Jew and says, but how did you make it across? He says, Rabbi, I was holding on to your coattails. Every Jew today is holding on to the coattails of the previous generations. We come with our own merits, but we hold on to the coattails of our fathers and our grandfathers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers before us. That's how we're getting across. We're going with the coattails. That's the Moshiach train that our parents and our grandparents before us were working to make a better world. It never went to waste. It's continuing in our generation and next generation, our children and grandchildren, etc., etc. Until the coming of the Mashiach. So the Mashiach is not just a unifier in space, but also a unifier in time, because it connects the link of the story of the golden chain of the Jewish people. But if you look at this particular prayer, at the very end, it says like this. It says, "Oh God, send us the Mashiach." And it says, why should you send us the Mashiach? Because we await his arrival every day. In fact, we don't say, send us the Mashiach because we're good. No, it says, why? Because we await his arrival every day. So it seems like the awaiting, the anticipation, that itself is the impetus for bringing the Mashiach. There's a famous rabbi, his name was the Chida. He was Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azulai. That's the abbreviation, Chida, Ches Yud Dalet Aleph. He's a very famous rabbi, lived a couple hundred years ago. And he asks a question about this prayer. He says, let's look back a little bit. Look back at all the different, we read all the prayers. We're up to the 15th prayer, right? Actually, perhaps this is the 16th prayer. Right? No, that's the 15th. It's the 15th prayer of all of the 18 of the Shemona Esrei, of the 19 prayers. So he asks a very good question. Now let's go look at the other prayers, the structure of all the prayers. We're looking at the structure. So we ask God for forgiveness. We say, at the very end, we say, Slach lana avinu, chal lana avinu, forgive us, right? Because you are a God, a merciful God. So we say, why offer us forgiveness? Because you can give us forgiveness, God. The next prayer we say, God, please heal us. We're sick. We're sick physically, spiritually, psychologically. Rafa'enu Hashem, give us healing. And then at the end of the prayer, we say, why? You're a good doctor, God. You are our healer. So again, we're saying, why should God heal us? Because he is the source of healing. Why should God forgive us? Because he can forgive us. Then we say, God, grant us prosperity. Help our farms, our produce. Why? You are a good God. You like to help us out. You are the source of all the blessing of prosperity. So again, in every one of the brachas, we're saying the reason why God should grant it to us is because God can give it to us. So we're asking Hashem, please, you God, you're Dr. God, give us health. You are you have the keys to prosperity. Give us prosperity. You can forgive us. You are forgiving. Forgive us. But this prayer, when we ask for the Meshiach, we say no. We're saying, no, God, give us the Mashiach because what? Because we're waiting for Mashiach. So for Mashiach, we're not relying on God. The keys is in our hands. The prayer itself says, give us the Mashiach because we're waiting for the Mashiach. In other words, the arrival of the Mashiach, we're not saying, God, give us the Mashiach because you have the key to Mashiach, because the Mashiach is in your chamber, send them down. No. We're saying because we're working on the Mashiach, because we're praying for the Mashiach. That itself is the answer to the coming of the Mashiach. So there are some people that say if Mashiach, you have to passively wait. Just passively wait. Or you can be actively awaiting. How do you actively await? By doing more good deeds, by doing more mitzvahs. Yeah, like the Rambam says, every mitzvah we do can change the world for the good. Tikkun olam. So the constant actively awaiting for the Mashiach is through doing good deeds, doing the mitzvahs, the 613 mitzvahs. By doing them, it's not just a matter of saying, "Oh, we're waiting for the I'm waiting for the Mashiach." No, the Rebbe used to be very much encouraged. Like we want Mashiach now, to live like Mashiach, to live a life that will be worthy of the coming of the Mashiach. So the arrival of the Mashiach is really in our hands. For all the other blessings, we say God gives us those things. For all the physical blessings, even the spiritual blessings, forgiveness and health and prosperity, God gives us that. But for the Mashiach, we have the keys. And if we do what we have to do, then Hashem sends us the Mashiach. So it's a different approach. So that you could be waiting passively, you say, I wait for the Mashiach. Or you can gird your loins, get involved, work on changing the world for the good. And everybody's very concerned about what's going on in Israel. And people, they can't watch enough news. Every 5 minutes they're going on the news to see, how many more rockets were shot. Let me tell you something. The soldiers on the front lines, they're not looking at the news. They're doing what they have to do to save the state of Israel, to save the Jews. They're not watching the news. Over here in the diaspora, what? You're going to watch some more about it. What does it help? It helps absolutely nothing. If you find out whether they hit another rocket, hit here and hit there, what can we do? Become better people. Say some more Tehillim. Say more prayers. Await the coming of Meshiach. Give some tzedakah. Do some more. Go help somebody. Go out there and change the world for the good. Because the world events are not, it's not just some random thing that's going on. We can change the world for the good through our deeds. That's what we believe. And we need the Meshiach now badly. So do what you're able to do. So if we really believe that reading a little bit Psalms, reading Tehillim, doing a mitzvah today, putting on some tefillin, helping the poor, going out there, volunteering for some things, or there are many things that you could do, even at home. Study a little bit. Read some Chumash, some Gemara, some Hasidus, Kabbalah. Those are the things that we can do. We can't change other things. I mean, you have some people, their influences on the internet, they're busy doing that. Okay, maybe that has some value to it. If you could influence the opinion of other people to change the opinion world, okay. Leave that to the influencers and the politicians. But us simple Jews, we await the coming of the Meshiach, not passively, but actively involved in our Yiddishkeit and doing the things we're supposed to do. And please God, we know that the coming of the Mashiach, we have the keys. The one more good deed that we do can change the whole world for the good and forever. And so I wish you all a good week. Shavua Tov, and I wish you a Chag Shavuos. Shavuos is Sunday night, Monday, and Tuesday, 2 days of Shavuot. So I wish you all receive the Torah, b'simcha, b'pnimius, and wish everyone all the best. And if anyone has any questions, you're welcome to. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, Rabbi. Rabbi, will it be a gradual change of the world, or will the world change overnight with Moshiach? How do we know Moshiach is here?
Okay, it's a good question that Rose is asking. Is it a gradual change, or is it look, Hashem can do something to bring the Mashiach in a split second. He wanted to, right? And there's been already a lot of gradual change that's happened over the years. So hopefully it's sooner than later. It's going to happen soon. But even though we have a big picture, we don't know everything 100%. We know we're winning the game. We know we're on the victory course. We know what we have to do. But the coach hasn't let us in on everything. Right? So he doesn't tell everything to every player. He gives you a general picture, right? And we know that we're going to win the war. It's going to happen soon. We're winning the game. So we need to be inspired by that thought and to work on it gradually from our perspective. But it's possible sometimes. Sometimes you do a few things and that tips the scales and changes, and then it can happen immediately. So our actions are identical. In some places in the Tanakh, it says that Meshiach is going to come through a gradual approach. In some places it says immediately. The Talmud speaks about that and says if we merit, it will come right away. If we don't merit, it will be gradual. So I can't, if I can give you that answer and tell you if Mashiach is coming right now, I can make a lot of money. I can't.
And I'm just the author of the book of Hasidic stories of the Holocaust, Hasidic tales.
Yafa
Who wrote it?
Elyach. Yaffa. Elyach is Eliach.
Thank you, Rabbi. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. It was very inspiring.